For about 5 years now, 30 to 40 researchers all across Europe have been looking at the same set of Commission proposals to understand interest group influence, mobilization, strategies from different perspectives. And so today we wanted to make some of that, the first results of that research available to the community that would be most interested in those results, which are lobbyists, policymakers, and academics here in Brussels. I think about 200 people signed up. We have a range of fairly high-level European Commission officials. There's people from the permanent representations. There's a number of people from academe, and we also have lobbyists here, firm lobbyists. I think some activist organizations, some private consultancy organizations and lobbyists.
We have the largest data set so far about lobbying in the European Union. And we have what is really particular about our data is that we do have data about preference attainment, that is positional data of actors that we can compare to outcomes, and so estimate in a quite objective manner how successful these actors actually were in shaping policy outcomes.
INTEREURO is unique because it represents a new generation of European analysis of interest groups. If you look at my generation of European scholars, it's a very different, it's highly qualitative research, its theoretical focus is corporatism, which is quite distinct, say, from North American hypotheses, theories about interest groups. This is the new standard by which, certainly in Europe, these things are studied.
And the key outcomes of the European Parliamentary study is that we didn't find a strong growth in numbers of organizations, but we do find that there is a specific core group that's very active and a very large group, about 70% of the organizations, is actually more a lobby tourist that comes in now and then. So that suggests that the actual group, the actual interest population is far bigger than only those active in Brussels, but also includes, say, adjacent organizations.
So the European Commission does not have a huge budget that which it can use to spend on subsidies or on pensions and so on.
I think on one hand, it is important for European institutions, in particular for the Commission, to see that lobbyists are concerned to achieve greater transparency in the process of decision making, that they are an important link between the direct interests in the local communities, in the business community, and in other areas of public life, and on the other hand, the European Commission services, who do of course practice public consultations, but as it was admitted by a representative of the Commission as well, this is not enough.
In many respects, the findings of the research go against my intuitions, and I would want to read the real research papers behind it before I would base my strategy on what I've heard today.
With regard to the question, what drives information supply? Well, I was a bit surprised, but I see no differences between NGOs and business interests, or very little differences in the supply of information between NGOs and business interests. Actually, these types of interests are supplying the similar types of information to policymakers.
The public image of lobbying is oftentimes very negative because the media tends to prioritize conflict and prioritize policy actors that are maybe more against a specific policy proposal. But, well, we see that lobbying is very technical and that interest organizations who provide these technical arguments also are more successful in the end of the day.
Now that we see the results coming out, there's also important things to say for the public sphere, I think. I think the role of researchers in that context should be to say things that people cannot really figure out themselves. So try to come up with conclusions that are not self-evident. And I think we have seen today at the conference a number of such conclusions that sort of gives a little bit different picture of what Brussels lobbying is about compared to what is the common view in the public.
A lot of people, again, perceive Brussels as this obscure bubble that they don't have a say about, that they cannot enter in. So it's certainly useful to, as I said, debunk certain of these myths and let the citizens, if not the decision makers, realize that this is not the case. And again, that it's a complex system. Decision making is very articulated, but there is possibility to have influence, and not just again for business industries.